Okay folks, this is a found piece. I found this on the footpath or driveway to a survey. I didn't pinch it, I don't do that. So this is something that we have in a lot of places, like workplaces, for safety. And it was on the ground, so I took the opportunity and picked it up and decided to utilise it in one of my demos. So let's see what this is. Going 400, and I think the horizontal is going to be narrow, is a bit shorter. Okay, what is this thing? It is Australian Standard 1851 maintenance record. Okay, it's off a fire extinguisher. So it's off it's an old, somehow it fell off, I don't know how. It was on the driveway of a service station, and I figured I'd souvenir it. Why not? You know, that sort of idea. Opportunity. Okay, we're just going to put the paper behind it. But yeah, it's like, yeah, it's a shame it got lost for the person, people, or the company. Probably don't need the paper behind it. Yeah, that's come up looking interesting. A little bit crooked, I think. I think putting the paper behind it wasn't the best idea. Might try and remove the paper and just straighten it up again and just gently lower the dock feeder onto it. So I'll just throw this in the recycle. Actually, look, yeah, it's slipped because I dropped the paper onto it. Yeah, it's a little bit crooked again. You can just see the edge of the dock feeder. I'm going to enlarge it and try and fit it to the page, and then we're going to make it into an interesting movement piece. Okay, let's just remove that. That'll probably go to the recycle. Interesting experiment anyway, folks. I do think we've got to overlap it like I normally do with things. Yeah, that looks like a good fit. That looks like we fitted it quite nicely, actually. Do wonder if maybe I could change, maybe lighten it a bit. Maybe I could just lighten it off and see what we'll get. Yeah, that looks interesting. I do wonder which version we like. This is the second version and this is the first, so I'm wondering if we're going to flow with this, make this into our master copy to make an interesting movement. So just going to switch it to 100 and just remove the first master copy, that one there, and we're going to make this to our movement piece. So this will be our movement. Yeah, that looks interesting. I do like this section here. Maybe that could be enlarged. Speaking of which, I wonder if those sirens going by were a fire truck. We do get a lot of fire trucks going through this area, but we also get a lot of other emergency vehicles coming through our suburb. I don't live too far from a hospital, and we've got a cop shop in Crow's Nest, and down in Neutral Bay we have a firehouse. So we've got all this emergency stuff happening around this place. Wondering if we're going to switch it to map or we're going to leave it. Yeah, that looks interesting. Looks like there's just too much horizontal. Maybe the vertical this didn't turn out looking as good as I was hoping it would. Yeah, that looks better. Still not what I'm after. I don't really like this. I actually think I might go back to the master copy and start again with something new. So I'm just going to kill off those settings. Just trying to decide which one we're going to use. We're going back to the beginning. I can hear the birds. It sounds like currawongs. Yeah, that looks really interesting. It looks similar to the first one with that stuff in the corner there. Going to use this one. Yeah, that looks interesting. It just looks like we're just going to have mostly the grid pattern as our piece. So that looks interesting. It's starting to get it's marbling actually. Maybe that's why it's looking like less like a grid, more like an interesting pattern. So I do think maybe we could still work with it, keep it going. I'm going to make it a map mode. I'm going to try it in map mode and see if we can keep more of the pattern in there. Yeah, the map mode looks a lot better now. But I don't like the patterns we've got on here. It looks shit house. Do you wish maybe this could be a good piece? Maybe I could take an angled section out of that. I've done that sort of thing before and it's worked on some occasions. So I'm just going to switch it up to 400. And we're going to take section out of that. We're going to take a punt, so to speak, the creative version of a punt. I don't punt on the races or the sports, or I'm not a gambler, but I do take punts when I'm doing these artworks. Yeah, when I'm watching the news, I find it so annoying that there are so many gambling, like sport-related gambling institutions constantly vying for people's money, and it really pisses me off. I just hate seeing people, knowing that people are blowing their money away on this shit, and it really is shit. And I just see all this gambling that's happening, all these gambling products being marketed, and it really is annoying to see that there's so much gambling. I mean, the thing is, they talk about gamble responsibly, but the thing is, they make money off people who keep gambling irresponsibly. So what are they doing? They're just saying that because they're legally obliged, not because they want people to use their products in a moderate sort of a manner. But there is no such thing. In my books, there is no such thing as responsible gambling. There isn't, folks. There's no such thing as responsible gambling. That's how I see it. I really hate gambling, and I just hate the way these big gambling institutions like to prey upon people who don't know much what is on. You know, just a basic rule of thumb, folks, is that the more you play, the more you lose. So the more you play and the more you gamble, the more you're going to lose. That's just it. Don't think you can beat the odds. Don't think that they're advertising shit is real, that they say you'll get better odds or better this or better that, and basically you just have to ignore these idiots and just don't get involved in gambling. Otherwise, it's going to ruin your life. You're going to lose your partner. You're going to lose your money. You're going to go broke. You're not going to have enough money to feed yourself or to pay the mortgage or the personal loan. You got to fucking think. You got to know that these gambling institutions just want you to spend your hard-earned cash on their fucktardery. They're stupid, but they're very cunning, and they try to make the ads all fancy and all fucking full of special effects and stupidities. But you're going to lose the more you play it. And I feel like I'm losing here. I've got to take that in a little bit. So yeah, the more you play, the more you lose, because if these gambling institutions were paying you money all the time, as they say they are, they'd go broke. They wouldn't make a profit. They'd go broke, and it would be pointless for them to have a business. It's just a business, folks. It's just fuck. It's just a fucking dumbass, but very cunning business. They don't like you. They don't care about you. They just do what they do, and they just want your money. Just go to the game and watch it. If you like footy, watch the footy. If you like soccer, if you like cricket, just watch the fucking sport. You know, sport has a place. I'm not against sport per se, even though I myself don't like it. I don't like sport myself, but I can understand a lot of people do, and it's a good thing, you know, to have an interest and sport has a place, but not with the gambling, not with the shit that they try to put you onto, the gambling shit. You know, you don't need it. You just enjoy the game, you know, watch the game, cheer, and, you know, get your mates together and maybe in moderation have a drink. Go have a beer and just enjoy yourself. But don't get drunk. That's another thing that's no good, is getting drunk. It's not worth it, folks. It's okay to have alcohol in moderation, a beer or two, but basically, sport is an important part of society, and I want to acknowledge that. I know I'm not a sport person. To be honest, I hate sport, folks, but I know that it's an important part of the fabric of society. To have your favourite team and wear your favourite jersey and your scarf and your beanie in the winter time for the footy, you know, but you just have to not gamble. And when it comes to having a drink, just having it in moderation. Enjoy talking to your mates and cheering with your mates. You know, I as I say, I don't like sport. I actually hate sport, but, you know, I want to acknowledge that it's important and that a lot of people really, really love their fucking team. Okay, let's see how this turns out. This is a really long demo, folks. I wonder how this demo is going to really make me feel at the end of it, if I like it or not. It looks in some ways like a bit of a mixed bag of feelings or emotions. It's a slightly, as far as marbled pieces go, it's a bit minimalist, but sometimes I don't mind it being slightly minimalist. I don't like it when it's really like that. Anyway, that looks really quite interesting. I think now we can call this demo quits.